let's do some mic scratching and whisper rambles to help you fall asleep. I've really gotten quite into mic scratching recently. It helped that people have been giving me positive feedback about my mic scratching videos. And I love wearing these sparkly nails and scratching the mic with them. I also think I've been appreciating the sound even more, even though I like it when other people do it, but I'm very picky about who I listen to. It just has a very intense and mind silencing sound. And for someone like me that has a really hard time shutting her brain off, this helps a lot. That's why I like ASMR so much, and what got me into listening to it first was just, it had that, it gave my mind a relief from the overthinking and everything that comes with that, and racing thoughts that just seem to always have to occur when I'm trying to sleep or at bedtime. So I wanted to give back and help people by making these videos in the same way that ASMR and other ASMR artists have helped me over the years. It's also just been a good outlet for me to relieve stress, get my mind off of work, which has been consuming a lot of my mental energy even when I'm at home. So keeping up with this channel and making these videos for you guys has really helped me too. And just being something I can use as a creative outlet that will also help other people. I feel like it's a win-win situation, and I'm excited to see where the channel goes. I think I like that, just like the one or two nails at a time. It's more concentrated and a little more, it sounds a little bit more exact, if that makes sense. It almost sounds like the roar from the beginning of movies. I don't even know what company that's for, but I just remember when I was a kid, before a movie on the VHS would play, that's really above 75, 80 degrees. Even 80 is pushing it because I like to like go on walks and stuff, but I also don't like it to be too hot and to be sweating profusely, which I tend to sweat pretty easily when I'm walking. And yeah, I like the calmer, cooler weather of fall, and of course all the leaves changing. I'm not a big fan of like Halloween decorations, but I'm kind of looking forward to spooky season and watching Halloween movies, even though I kind of already do anyway. But yeah, I feel like they're extra special in October in this season. Even though it's August, I watched a Christmas movie recently. I watched Daddy's Home 2, which I think is technically a Christmas movie. It's been a few years since I watched it. I also watched the first one. And it's so cheesy, but like, I found myself laughing. And it was kind of heartwarming too. I also watched The Little Vampire a few days ago, which is a Halloween movie, but I saw that it was free on YouTube, so I watched it because I was feeling nostalgic, and I don't think I've seen it since I was like a kid. And I've been on a nostalgia bent recently, like watching a lot of the old movies that I grew up watching, like The Little Vampire, Cheaper by the Dozen, both of them. I watched those recently. And Repo, the Genetic Opera, which isn't a kid's movie, but I remember watching it for the first time. Or I'm not sure I remember the exact time watching it, but I was in 6th grade when I first watched that movie. It was on free movies on our cable plan. I don't even remember what it was, but it was listed as a free movie, and after I saw it the first time, I watched it so many times, and I watch it with my friend. It's like the type of movie that's so bad it's good, and it's always stuck with me, and I listen to the soundtrack too. I have a playlist on my phone. My musical, I have multiple musical or multiple playlists on my phone. And my musical playlist has a lot of random songs from different musicals. I'm really picky about what musicals I listen to. Yeah, Rainbow is probably the cheesiest, or all the other ones aren't cheesy, but that's definitely the cheesy one in my collection, because the other ones are Les Miserables, Phantom of the Opera, which was, I think it was my first musical I ever saw. My mom would play it in the car when I was like, I was like 7 the first time I heard it. And I became so obsessed with the soundtrack until we finally watched it together. I don't know how old I was, probably like 8, maybe, way too young. But yeah, and I would watch it over and over again. So it became kind of a comfort movie for me, even though it wasn't a comforting story. So yeah, I have Rainbow, Phantom of the Opera, Les Miserables, West Side Story, and I think there was another one. I can't remember. But those are my 3 or 4, well, I guess 5 main. Sweeney Todd. Those are my, the 5 musicals I actually like. I don't know if you can sense a theme, but yeah. I'm not super into like the perky comedy musicals. Not my vibe. haven't seen it live, so the movie's all I really have to go on. I've listened to the soundtrack of like the actual Broadway, and I have to say the movie musical was not great. My parents and we both watched the musical Mean Girl, I can't remember if we watched the musical or the original movie first, but we watched both of them in 2 days. And some of the words were word for word, or the lines, and some of them they changed, and yeah, I think that they miscast some people. But the girl who played Regina in the musical, I think she did pretty good. She's like an actual singer. But the girl who played Katie in the musical, she could not sing. And I noticed they cut out a bunch of songs because I listened to the soundtrack from the Broadway. They cut out a lot of songs, and the guy who plays Aaron, who plays Conrad in The Sunrise and Pretty, apparently doesn't even sing, so they cut out all his singing, but they wanted him in there because he's like some teen heartthrob or something. I low-key want them to redo the Les Miserables musical as a movie. I haven't watched that movie in like 5 years, but when it came out, my mom and I saw it 3 times in the theater. Hugh Jackman, I think he's a good singer, but I don't like the way he sang some of the songs. And then there's Russell Crowe, who we won't even talk about his singing. It just was not, his acting was fine, but the singing was just not there. But I really liked Eddie Redmayne, Amanda Seyfried, and Samantha Parks as Eponine, Cosette, and Marius. I think the 3 of them did really well. And even Anne Hathaway, I think she did pretty well too. But yeah, just the 2 main, Jean Valjean and Javert, I feel like those really need to be redone. Even if Hugh Jackman was Jean Valjean again, it just sounded like when he was singing he was out of breath, but I think that's because they were working them for long hours, really hard, from what I heard when I watched a documentary about that movie being made. Yeah. I might watch it soon though, because technically I grew up with that movie. So it'll be on a list on my nostalgia kick. And then apparently the Phantom of the Opera movie was banned. I grew up with it. That was the first Phantom of the Opera I got exposed to. So I was fine. I liked it. I think Gerard Butler did way better than Russell Crowe in their respective roles. I didn't have a problem with the candles coming out in the lair. People say like they were trying to make it look like a musical and not a movie, but I always thought that was cool. I thought it made it more dramatic. And the aesthetics were really good. The aesthetics and sets were really good in Les Miserables movie too. And then the Sweeney Todd movie was just a whole different vibe. That set was pretty good. I think Johnny Depp did a pretty good job. He did a good job as Sweeney Todd. He was more like cold and collected. He wasn't portrayed as insane or outwardly insane as like the stage musical, but it made it a little more eerie. which the story is eerie, so I think it worked. You let me know what your favorite musical is in the comments. I won't judge. I'm just very picky about the ones that I like, but to each its own. It's not a musical, but I'm just talking about random stuff. I'm still waiting for Motorheads to be renewed. I feel like it's going to, because people are actually watching the whole thing, so that I think they take into account which shows people watch from start to finish, and I definitely watched the whole thing. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed about that show being renewed. Because I love Michael Cimino. He's one of my newer celebrity crushes. And he's also just, I think he's a really good actor. Even though, well, I think I've only seen him in 3 things. So, and so far, I think he's a pretty good actor. And I watched We Were Liars. I didn't really like that one as much. I was kind of just waiting to see what happened. I did look up it halfway through because it didn't have any comic relief, because I can do dark, but if there's no comic relief, I'm just like, this is unpleasant, like in Nosferatu. I know Sweeney Todd didn't have a comic relief, really. Well, I guess maybe Signor Pirelli was kind of a comic relief. But yeah, We Were Liars. It was just kind of just depressing, and the characters were just sad. So I don't know if they're gonna renew that, but I hope that they renew Motorheads instead, if it's only one or the other. And I'm more than halfway through editing my second book in my series. So that's been good for me to use my creativity and not overthink about work. Really just doing these videos and working on my novels has been good for my mental health, and just good outlets and, I guess, coping skills to handle the stress of my job. So thank you everyone who has been supportive of me and gives me positive feedback and engages with my videos and with me. Yeah, just your support really does keep me going, because sometimes I'm tired and don't want to do anything after I come home, but it's good to know that these videos are helping you. I hope this video was relaxing and entertaining, and I will see